Well, look at this great car that I bought on cargurus.com. Repeat, cargurus.com. A bunch of different local dealers are putting vehicles on sale there, and I bought this one. I paid way too much for it, and the people that sold it to me are pieces of shit. And this car has a lot of hidden problems. I believe it was a flood car. The title's clean, but I believe this was submerged in water. I'm finding all kinds of problems now that I'm the owner of it, and it's all on me. I should have looked closer. There were some telltale signs of water damage and stuff, but we really like the car. They fixed some of the problems, like the emergency brake didn't work. That was fixed, but I don't know about the quality of the work, because apparently everything was rusted up under there, and you can see that they replaced all new stuff on the rear of it. So lots of problems. This was in a fender bender or something. There's a little bit of damage there. They said they were going to fix this, and quote unquote fix. They did fix it, but what there is a piece of twine that they added to hold this up, and the twine is actually tied to the battery of all things. So I've got to figure out how I'm going to improve that. This fender well here, you can see, is damaged. I've got a new fender well. I'm going to be replacing it. Hopefully, while I have this apart, I can figure out how to improve that. It separates here. This is what they have the piece of twine holding up. They're holding up this bumper cover up with a piece of twine. They said they were going to have it properly repaired, but they didn't. Of course, that was after I had already signed the ownership papers. They did put a nice new stereo in there. I mean, very nice. So that was supposedly $600. That's what they showed me, plus installation. I think it was like $900 total. Very nice. Can't see it through the window. I've got the car locked. The engine light is on for a P0420. The sellers of this car said that they would give me a 90-day warranty, but they didn't bother putting it in writing, and I didn't notice. So when I asked them to fix it, they said, well, do you have that 90-day warranty in writing? And I said, well, I don't know. I looked at the papers, and they conveniently forgot to add that. So that's on me. I've got to fix it. So catalytic converter, exhaust manifold gasket, all that's going to be replaced, and I'm paying for it. And I'm doing the labor myself, by the way. Also, the rear oxygen sensor is reading 0.00 volts, and that's going to be wiring or electronic related. Maybe the computer's bad. I took it to a mechanic close to us, and he said that you have an exhaust leak, which I told them I had. I knew about that in advance. So they said they can't diagnose the zero voltage on the backstream sensor until that's fixed. Well, they could have. Okay, it's not going to be 0 volts just because of an exhaust leak, so they're just gouging me. They charged me $90 for that. I tell you, the automotive industry is a piece of shit. Everybody in this is just pieces of shit. So this is just to show you what it looks like. It is a nice car. It's pretty good. You can see there's some rust on the ground there. Underneath is rusted out, so that's why I think it's a flood car. But I don't think the rust is so bad that it's structural. I think it's just superficial at this point. So I will be treating the rust with some converter paint that I have on order. I'll be taking care of that so that the stability of the car can be maintained. The carpets were clean, so it's hard to tell from that if there was a flood damage. The seats are in good shape, no gouges or anything. And it did not come with floor mats, so I bought some OEM floor mats for that. And then the floor mats that I received weren't actually OEM. They're like OEM, but I don't think they are because the quality seems suspect. The people that sold me the car said they would replace this. They didn't. I had to order one, and it came in black, even though I put the VIN number in, so I guess I have to paint that myself. So yeah, I'm not too happy, but this is just the first. I'll show some other pictures of the engine and stuff in later videos. Okay, so here's the engine bay of that car. By the way, that's a 2009 Toyota RAV4. Normally a very good car, but not when it's been submerged in water. This battery's old, and I told them the first thing I was going to do is replace it, and they said, oh, no, you don't have to replace it. And the reason they said that is they didn't want me to notice this piece of twine here holding up the bumper cover. So there's that piece of twine that they added. You can see rust on things like this to indicate it was underwater. And look at the engine. Look how corroded it is. That has been underwater. Definitely, in my opinion, it has. Alternator's been replaced. Everything's been cleaned up as best as it can be done. But yeah, I took off the beauty cover. I do have it, but it's cracked. If you want it to be perfect, that'd have to be replaced. I mean, look at the rust on that. See, that's been exposed to water or something. This exhaust manifold, according to the mechanic that I took it to, said this does look like an original Toyota one, so I'm going to try to reuse it, even though I've got an aftermarket one on order. These 5 nuts that hold the exhaust manifold were all loose, and I snugged them up, and even with that, it was still leaking a little bit. So I do need to replace that exhaust manifold gasket, and I'll be doing that. And I probably will put this converter back on after I take it off and look and see inside of it and see how it looks. If it was underwater, there's probably indications of that in the honeycomb, and I will make a determination then. But I will have a new one that I could replace, but it's an aftermarket, so it's probably only good for a year at a time. If we drive this for a year and we don't have any further problems, then I'll probably put a little bit more money into it, buy a better converter. Let's see. This grommet here was destroyed, so I replaced it. Otherwise, this thing would just fall out, this support arm. But I replaced that, and that was a couple bucks, no big deal there. Let's see, what else have I done? Nothing much on this yet. I've got parts on order, like I said, for the exhaust to fix the P0420. They did replace this oxygen sensor. I did catch it before I caught the car. It was the only code at the time. But now when I run the codes, I'm getting airbag errors and air conditioning errors, and I think one other thing, but I don't remember off the top of my head, and as well as the engine errors. And I think there's 3 or 4 for the P420. No error specifically for the rear oxygen sensor, so I'm a little confused about that. They also serviced the AC. We were saying, you know, this air conditioner's not working too good, so they did service it. They said they drained the oil and put new oil in it and recharged it. If they did, then that's great. Then that should be good. But who knows? I mean, they were telling me one thing and doing another. I don't trust these guys anymore. So anyway, that's it. That's all I can think of right now. I will be diving into this. I did check the air cleaner, and it's not too old, but I'm still going to replace it. And I'm going to be changing the oil, engine oil, and the transmission fluid, and replacing the transmission filter. Both the engine oil pan and the transmission have dents in it. They're caved in slightly. I'm only replacing the transmission pan, though, because I have to remove it anyway to replace the filter. I'm not going to touch the oil pan. I don't think it's damaged bad enough to make a difference. So that's it for now. There'll be more videos coming.